Hey everybody, it's Missy. Thanks for joining me again for another video. Today's layout is for the cut shop, and I'm going to be using this new cut file called What Goes Around, and I used the 8.5 by 11 version of this, and I went ahead and cut it on some vellum, and I didn't film that part because I had a brand new cutting mat and it was very sticky, and so it took me a while to get that vellum off of the sticky mat, but I really love how it turned out. And there's the picture that I'm going to be scrapbooking, and I promise my daughter has a nose. The picture's just very light. It looks like her nose went missing, but she does have one. So anyway, I'm going to be using the Better Together collection, or a lot of it, or some of it, from Amy Tan. And I really like this XO watercolor paper, but it's really busy, and at first I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. And so I thought, well, I'll just use some bits and pieces of it on this layout. So I grabbed a couple of different size circle punches, and I'm just punching out some shapes I'm going to put behind these circles. And I don't want to back every single one of them. It's just going to kind of give the paper a lighter look. You know how vellum works. It just kind of lightens things up and makes it look a little frosted. And so that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm using a 2.5 inch, a 2 inch, and then I'm going to use a 1.5 inch circle punch here. And I decided to do a black and white photo because I knew I was going to have a bunch of rainbow colors going on in this layout, and I didn't want the colors of the photo to compete, mainly because my daughter was running around without her shirt, and so it's just a lot of, you know, flesh colors and then a brown shelf background. So it was kind of neutral colors in the picture, and so by making it black and white, it pops off the page a little bit more, and it makes the other colors stand out. So I stuck those circles down exactly where I wanted them to go, and now I'm just going to coat a lot of the page with some clear gesso because I am going to add a little bit of gelato and some ink sprays here to the background. And these are some of my Shimmers products. This is a colorings, it's yellow, called No Yoking. And so I'm just using the packaging technique here. There's going to be a lot of yellow on this page. And, you know, some of it's going to be covered up, and a lot of it is going to be underneath that vellum background piece. But I wanted a little bit of a messy factor going on. This is a pink spray. It's a Vibes called Sweetheart, and this particular spray is one of my favorites, and it has a little bit of shimmer to it. Absolutely love the colors in this collection. I love anything rainbow, and I love the watercolor look in a lot of these papers. So I'm just kind of splattering and smushing here. I just wanted some of it to show through the vellum, but the picture is going to cover up some of it. And I love how the vellum just makes everything look a little bit muted. You can still see it, but it's not as bold and bright. So now I want to create some layers, and I want to bring in some of that really pretty dark blue color. And I'm going to use that as a layering piece. I'm going to add a couple more pages. Or not pages, papers. I really love all the different designs and things in this collection, even though a lot of the papers are super busy. I feel like, you know, you can use a little bit of one of these busy papers and it goes a long way. And I really love this little cut apart sheet. I cut this little green piece out, but I wind up not using it because I wind up finding a bigger square of that green color. I decided to add a little bit of that dark blue color to the background, and I've actually went ahead and picked out some embellishments that I think I might want to use as well. And I'm just going to use my little water brush here. I didn't want to add too much more to the background. because I did want a lot of white space showing through, but I did want to add a little bit of blue, and so I'm not going to use the packaging technique because I didn't want to go overboard with it. And it was really hard for me to find this exact blue. I guess I could have pulled out my actual watercolor palette, but this gelato was pretty close to that navy blue, royal blue-ish color. So off camera, I adhered the vellum down and I did some stitching through all of the circles that have paper behind it. And it's kind of hard to see because I use yellow thread, but I just did kind of a crisscross on top of each of those circles. So the vellum is officially attached and it's not going anywhere. And I've got my layers stuck there. And I went through this 6x6 paper pad and cut out that little "oh, hello there" piece. And I'm going to use it as a layer on top of the picture, along with a couple of flare buttons. But I have not adhered my picture yet, so I'm going to fold up some tissue paper, kind of messy-ish. I don't want to cover up a lot of the layers because the tissue paper kind of covered up the blue, but I'm going to ruffle it up a little bit so you can still see it. So if you've never used vellum to cut a cut file out, you should definitely try it. Just be careful, especially if your cutting mat is new, because, you know, vellum is very easily torn. And so I did have a couple spots that I tore, mainly because I just got impatient and tried to peel it off. And with all those little bits and pieces in this particular cut file, I had to just slow down and peel it up little by little. But I really love the end result, and I like the look that it gives. You can still see the design, but it's not overwhelming, and it's not so busy that it takes away from the photo or anything else on the page. So this is a flare button from A Flare for Buttons, and it's kind of hard to see here, but it's this really pretty pink heart bokeh effect. There are some hearts on there, and they're different shades of pink. And I thought that it matched everything really pretty, so I decided to layer that with a little bit of yellow thread under it. And the thread just gives a little bit of texture and some extra pop of color. And I tend to do that a lot. So I decided to dig into Amy's last collection, the Finders Keepers collection, because a lot of the colors matched perfectly. They go hand in hand with her newest collection. Very bright, very bold. And I've found a couple little things. And I had not broke into this white Calbarteschi thicker pack yet. And so I decided to use this seriously, and my title is going to be Seriously Cute. And I love the font of these. I've been hoarding them. You guys know how hoarding goes. It's so hard to use stuff that you love. I don't know what the problem is, but I finally just decided to go for it and just break into it and use one of these thickers. Now, of course, I can't just leave it white. I have to muddy it up a little bit. Well, I don't want to say muddy up. I have to mess it up a little bit. And so I'm going to use some gelatos here, and I'm going to just give it some color. I didn't want to color the entire thing. I didn't want it to be black, even though the picture is black. And I do add some black splatters later. I just wanted touches of color, and it kind of turned out like I wanted to, but it kind of blended into the background more than I wanted it to. And so I come in with the blue, and I come in with the pink and a red gelato, and then I do wind up adding a little bit of green here. And I'm just dipping my finger in some water and smudging just a tiny bit of the gelato. It does not take a lot to add a lot of color. And I like the way that looks, but it blends in too much. It doesn't stand out. And so what I'm going to do is take my black pen, well, in a minute, and I'm going to trace around the edges. I'm going to come in with these really cute, tall, skinny, green these are thickers as well. And I'm just going to spell out cute. And then add a little heart. I felt like something needed to go in that little gap in between the E and that big loopy Y. So that blue heart came from the Finders Keepers collection. I'm going to stick this little yellow lemon piece underneath that blue heart just to make it stand out a little more. And it's a circle, so it works well with this circle design. Okay, so here's what I did to make the seriously stand out. I just took my black Sharpie and I just go around the edges of this entire word, and it kind of adds a little something extra. It makes it stand out to where you can actually see it, but it's not so overwhelming and so bold. You know, because sometimes when you add black elements to a design like this, it just stands out a lot. And so now you can actually see it. I kind of like that it looks messy and doodly, and it just gives something extra to the thicker. You know, it still kind of blends in. It's not a bold color, but I like how it turned out, and I would definitely do that technique again. So I needed to add more thread because I like to add thread, and so that's what I do over there to the right. And I also have some on the left from earlier, and that's a blue color. I'm just going to add this little reely piece, and I'm just going to stick it on top of the Y. And that's from Finders Keepers, and so is this blue arrow that I'm going to add in. So as you can see, these two collections, you might as well just put them all together because I think that they coordinate perfectly. I was going to use those balloons that I just moved out of the way, but I could not find a place for them to go. Now these are the rub-ons from Better Together, and I'm just going to use a couple of them just for little pops of color and little pieces of interest around the page. And I'm going to wind up sticking this little flower right here, right on top of the vellum, and it went on very nicely. Rub-ons are so fun. I just want to create a layout with nothing but rub-ons. And I need to use these rub-ons up because I know from past experience, if you let them sit for too long, they dry up and they don't rub on at all. So I don't want to forget about them. These are from the Dear Lizzie. Oh gosh, what's it called? Happy Days. It's her newest collection, that little sentiment sticker sheet. And so I used those instead of journaling because this wasn't a monumental event. It was just a cute random picture of page, and so I just used some of those sentiment stickers. And then I'm going to add in my date, and at first I wasn't sure where to put it, but I just stamped it right underneath the word cute, right on top of that vellum, and it worked out great. So the last thing that I'm going to do is add in some black splatters, and I sort of forgot, well, not forgot, but as you can see there, that splatter just sort of started to blend underneath the vellum right there to the left of that little cover sheet there that I've got. But it works out. It's okay. There's the final layout. I like how it turned out. I think it's cute. I really love the colors, and I really like trying the vellum with the cut files. So try it, but just remember to be patient, and especially on intricate designs like this with lots of little pieces. But the result is worth it, I think. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I had a great time making this. So let me know if you have any questions or anything at all, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.